Welcome to the Math Review. This lesson we're going to talk about how to solve two-step equations. We'll take some notes, we'll write an equation that we have to solve, and then we'll do the check for that solution in this column here. Now when it comes to two-step equations, it can be a little bit difficult because with one step there was only one thing to do. But with two steps, just like it says, there's two things to do, but the question is what goes first? So in our notes, I want to cover exactly how we'll know what we have to do first. And it all starts with this old thing called the order of operations. And some students might remember that as PEMDAS. Let's just write that here. So we've got PEMDAS. Step 1 is parentheses. Step 2 is exponents. Step 3 is multiplication or division from left to right, whichever comes first. And then step 4 is addition or subtraction, whichever comes first. Now, whenever we have numbers, we follow the order of operations from the top all the way down to the bottom. But when we have algebra, it's a little bit different. We have an unknown value. And so what we do is, since in algebra we use inverse operations, we're also using the inverse order of operations when we're finding inverse operations. It sounds really bad, but it's not terrible. So in other words, when I'm using algebra, think variable, okay, that you have to find a value for. And when you have an equation that you're trying to find the value of a variable, you work in the reverse order. So instead of working from the top to the bottom, we're going to cancel from the bottom to the top. So let's start with an equation that we can solve. Let's say we have 5x plus 10 equals 30. And the first thing I like to do when we have an equation is I like to drop bars down the equal sign to separate my left side from my right side. So let's do that. I'm going to drop a line down here. And I'll also drop a line down here. And so now I've got 5x plus 10 on the left and 30 on the right. So I've got my value on the left side. Now, according to our notes, when we have numbers, just numbers, we follow the order of operations from the top all the way down to the bottom. But when we're trying to find the value of a variable using algebra, we cancel in the inverse order. So let's start with boxing the expression on the left. We've got 5x plus 10. And that gives me two terms. I've got 5x here, and I've got positive or plus 10 here. And the first thing I want to do is I want to cancel any addition or subtraction I have because that's our first step. So I want to cancel any addition or subtraction I see. And the only thing I see here is the plus 10. So I'm going to have to use the inverse operation of plus 10, which is minus 10. So I'll put minus 10 here. And then remember, because it's an equation, I have to balance the equation. And that means I've got to draw a line across, kind of like a scale, that I have to balance. So I've got negative 10 on this side, or minus 10 on this side. I also have to put minus 10 on this side. So let's do that. So now we've got minus 10 on the left and minus 10 on the right. So we balanced the equation. So now that we have this positive 10 and negative 10, or the plus 10 and minus 10, those will cancel out. I'll put a line to show that they cancel. And since they cancel, all I'm left with now on the left side is 5x. So I can bring that down. I can also bring down my equal sign. And I've got 30 minus 10, which is 20. And once you've gotten to this step, you don't need to worry about what's up here. Focus on this new equation that you have. And now we're done with any addition or subtraction. There's nothing else to add or subtract in this new equation. So we're done with this step of the inverse operation process. And now we'll move up to the next thing, which is multiplication or division. And now I've got 5x. And 5x, whenever you have a coefficient and a variable, you automatically know, or should know, that there is multiplication in between them, that this is a multiplication expression. So we've got 5 times x. So we have to undo that by using the inverse operation of multiplication, and that's division. Now there are two ways to show division. One way is to show a division symbol here, a division line here, and a line here, and divide both sides by 5. Now that's actually the standard way. Most of my students have trouble understanding that this is division though. So what I do for those scholars is I like to just put the division symbol instead. It's a little bit more clear for them. So I put the division sign here, divided by 5. And I'll do the same exact thing on this side, so I'm going to balance that. I'll draw a line straight across, balance it like a scale. And then we'll put divided by 5 on this side as well. Divide by 5. So now 5 divided by 5, they cancel out to give us 1, and then that's just 1x. And 1x is the same exact thing as regular x by itself. So I can leave the 1 there, or I can just take it away. We've got x, and I'll bring down my equal sign now. And then 20 divided by 5 is just 4. So like I said before, we don't have to have this 1 here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make it part of the... What I'm going to do is just make it part of the box. We're going to say x equals 4. And this here is our solution. So we're saying x equals 4. We have a variable on one side, we have a value on the other, and an equal sign in between them. This is our solution. And the last thing we have to do is check. And checks always start the same exact way as equations do. So we have 5x plus 10 equals 30, so I'll write that here. And the goal is to make sure that the left side of the equation and the right side of the equation are the same value. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop down bars around my equal sign. I'll put a line here. And I'll put a line here. And then remember that we said our solution is x equals 4. And remember that this is multiplication. So this is really 5 times x. Now remember, we're dealing with numbers here. So it's like we would just follow the regular order of operations, which means we'll do multiplication or division first, and then addition and subtraction, because we have numbers in our checks. We've got 5 times x. So I'm going to rewrite every single thing here, but whenever I see x, I'm going to put 4. We've got 5 times x is 4, so I'll put 4 there, plus 10 equals 30. Alright, so now my x is 4, so I just plug that in for that. Now, according to the order of operations, when we have just numbers, there's no more variables here, we'll do multiplication or division first. So we've got 5 times 4, that's what we'll do first, and that's going to be 20. And then I'll bring down my plus sign, because I haven't used it yet. I'll bring down my 10. I'll bring down the equal sign. I'll bring down the 30. Okay? Well, there's no more multiplication or division, so we're done with this step. Now we'll just go to addition and subtraction. So we've got 20 plus 10, and when we solve that, or evaluate that rather, that's 30. And this equals, and this is 30. And since my left side and my right side are the same value, this check is correct, and that means my solution, x equals 4, is the correct value. Thanks for watching our video on the math review. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. We might use your question in our next video. And if you found this lesson helpful, please make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. And it would really help if you share this and our other videos to any of your social media platforms. See you next time on the Math Review.